Smile. If you want to go left, you could. I can't fucking see. Whatever.
There we go. There's no
That
way.
should, no. Cool, thank you.
Exams are missing. You all see your score for your exams?
Yeah.
Good. I don't know where some of your exams went.
What? No, I want to see.
You should know the score. Most of your. So I wrote on the board, I color coded it. Let's make sure it's more clear here. What red means in terms of oxygenated blood.
Rich.
Yeah, definitely oxygen rich. Blue is usually symbolized being oxygen poor. There's no such thing as blue blood though.
Right.
Blood doesn't get completely unoxygenated, it gets deoxygenated. It's still about 40% oxygen in the blue blood. And you see the exchange of blood here, and you see that the gas exchange where blood in those between the spaces changes from red to blue. That oxygen is being taken up by the embryonic blood vessels, the fetal arterioles, and taking away the vasculature inside the umbilical cord. So this part here is the endometrium
Yes.
of the mom. Okay, I mean it's stratum physalis. This part here. Let's see. I'm sorry, this is stratum physalis here. It's the non-functional part. But this endometrium part is the decidua physalis. So don't confuse the physalis here. It's used twice. Remember, stratum physalis is the non-hormone sensitive part of the endometrium. Okay, but the decidua physalis is what was stratum functionalis. It's the decidua physalis is the stratum functionalis of pregnancy. Students tend to miss this one on the test. Forget what that is. And let's remember, well, one thing I don't know if you knew this, you probably didn't, but there are two umbilical arteries. And in fetal circulation, you have to think of it in terms of the embryo. Arteries always take blood away from the heart. But in the case of fetal circulation, when you actually want to get that blood to this place of exchange, there are two umbilical arteries because there are branches of the iliac artery, the internal iliac inside the pelvis. And you have two of those. That's why you have two umbilical arteries, because there's two internal iliac arteries which they branch off of. And they actually go up inside of the body wall. They go through your belly button. They go out the umbilical cord. And you see the pictures here. There's two of them, and they're blue. And they're taking blood away. Arteries take blood away from the heart, or in this case, away from the baby. Okay, so in this case, arterial blood is oxygen poor, nutrient poor. Okay, now the vein, the one umbilical vein, it's remarkable. It's taking up the oxygen, the nutrients from the between spaces. And veins always return blood to the heart. In this case, the one umbilical vein is returning blood to the baby. Return blood to the baby's heart. The baby's heart will circulate. So that's basically what I want you to know about the vasculature of the son. That's how it works. Is there any questions on these vessels? So this circulation for the mom, it's regular systemic circulation. In adults, the arteries, the systemic arteries, always deliver oxygen-rich or blood to the body. So those same arteries, the ones that branch off the uterine artery, will take blood to the embryo placenta. You remember the name of this coiled artery? The spiral arteries. You're talking about the 120 spiral arteries that will deliver blood to these uterine spaces. And mom's veins, she'll handle taking care of the baby's waste, her circulatory system. Her liver will deal with baby waste. So when you get to labor and delivery, the baby's ready to come out at full development because natural birth through the cervix, vaginal canal, the birth canal. In partition, what you part with the afterbirth. The contractions of labor, they begin at the top of the uterus, fundus, and they sweep down toward the cervix. They're strong, they occur at regular intervals, right? They ask how far apart are the contractions. They increase in force and frequency. What you want is to change the position of the fetus so that the head moves towards the cervical canal. You're going head first. And I remember this is what they told me when I took my pregnant wife to the hospital, 511. When the contractions are 5 minutes apart, each contraction is about a minute duration. This happens for an hour. And then what you do is you go to the hospital and you'll see if you're dilated enough, maybe they'll admit you or they'll send you back home. Now you have to understand that these contractions are painful. If you're told to go home, you're like, what? You gotta go home. Are you kidding me? No, you have to dilate it enough. Go home and see that. Well, sometimes they'll. It depends how dilated
It's
you are.
not real. It's worse than that.
They think it's real. Okay. You can tell by the dilatation stage of the cervix, the expulsion stage when you're actually pushing the baby out from the birth canal. The afterbirth, the placental stage, is when the decidua of the salus says that it falls off. It's delivered. Now, the dilatation part, when the cervix dilates, you can see the picture, the fetus is shifted towards the cervical canal. This typically can last several hours. The amniochorionic membrane, like I said before, those, the water breaks naturally or artificial to reduce the labor. And like the nurse can walk in and say, hey, well, we're trying to get you to dilate this much. You're here. We're just trying to give you some vantage point of how much the dilation needs to happen. It's reinforced by oxytocin. 10 centimeters fully dilated. If you just never dilate, the doctor may opt to do a C-section where you deliver through the uterine wall. In a cervical exam, in addition to the dilatation, they deliver other things too. How dilated is that the external os, the whole cervical canal? You have to accommodate baby's head. 10 centimeters would be nice, okay? So you can start pushing. That's one thing that's examined. The physician can estimate that using your fingers. The other thing that they look for in cervical exam is the goal be is something called effacement. Effacement is the thinning out of the cervix wall. It thins out. That's pictured here. Usually, the cervix is a few centimeters, 3 or 4 centimeters in length this way. You probably feel around the forehead to see how much. But as the baby's head pushes down on the cervix, it effaces, thins out. That's another clue getting ready to deliver. And so, in non-pregnant people, here's the normal thickness of the cervix, a few centimeters. In labor, it thins out. You report it as a percentage. Okay, if you only feel like 1 centimeter, you might report 50% effaced. The goal is 90%. station refers to the position of baby's head relative to an anatomical landmark, the ischial spines. Station. Position. Baby's head. Relative to the ischial spines. If baby's head is level with the ischial spines, they say that station is 0. You're right at the level, right at the baseline. So I have a picture of baby's head being a little past that. It's all relative to that position. 0 is baby's head right there, plus 4 past it, inferior to it, is essentially the liver, the picture on the bottom. -3 would be not even pelvis at all. There's a YouTube clip to watch. There's no sound. Here you see the facement occurring. They show you the grid lines. There's 0, -3, -2, -1. There's 0. There's the ischial spines. Right there. The baby head comes out crowning, basically. Essentially, the liver around +3, +4. Not station. This guy's actually pretty big. I'm gonna watch it. I watch it. I didn't put a clip of the cesarean birth. You can watch it. But I'm not teaching cesarean section as part of your knowledge of the test. I'm not doing that. Those of you who are interested in knowing about it,
What makes the baby flip? One
flip.
like from breech to head down. What makes it?
Usually the talker will help. They'll just kind of like do it for you. Yeah, I mean, they can't always do that. Don't worry about the umbilical cord. I mean, yeah, other things that they can do, I'm not sure. Just manipulate, palpating you through the wall.
But isn't the baby normally supposed to do it by itself?
It can. So you're asking me, how does it know to go ahead first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can ask obstetrician that.
Nature.
I hope it does.
God.
Huh?
You can't be
Really?
worried about breech first dangerous. Just worry about getting the whole body out, not the head. It's right there. But yeah, head first is the preferable. Get the biggest part of the baby out first. Yeah. Pull them in hard on there, and pull the head out last. You're exposing it last to all the bacteria that may be in the upper canal. You might worry about eye infections, things like that. But those are easy to treat. Just get the baby out. So the cervical exam, you know these numbers. They just shout them out and put your numbers on your test. Know that the first number always refers to relation. The second number is always the effacement. It's a percentage. And then the last number is station. 480, -2. 4 centimeters dilated, 80% phase, -2 station. For any combination. Okay. Whether it's the obstetrician or the midwife. You know. Cervical exam just kind of tells you where you are. I do want you to know those numbers test. There's the mother's decision. They usually decide beforehand. They want an epidural where you insert a catheter and administer the drugs to the central nervous system. They usually try to go between the lumbar vertebra, between the spinous processes. And so you're just kind of, you sleep right through your contractions I have read it does increase the chance that it will dilate, but I think mothers who want epidural, they try to make sure the hospital offers them. Hospital. When you deliver the baby, the contractions of labor, typically after the head is delivered, typically lasts less than 2 hours. A half an hour later, accompanied with a lot of blood loss, is the decision of finally falling off. Okay. And usually they'll give the mom 5 minutes to go home with blood loss. Birth. So that concludes the material for your test. You have a lot to do. I do have your
Yay!